Great. So I'm Anton, Hengel. I'm the director of the Australian Centre for Visual Technologies, which I can tell you is almost exactly 27 hours away. We have been working for a while now in computer vision, really, and we started trying to figure out ways that we could relate to 3D shapes, and it turned out we just needed to generate a whole lot of 3D shapes. And real ones, not faked. We've kind of originated organically out of that need. So the idea with video trace is that you take some ordinary video. You know, we do computer vision, so we've got to start with images somehow. And it doesn't have to be any particular kind of video. You know, you don't have to. So this is video taken off the back of a bicycle. It's not, you know, it doesn't need to be stabilized with a fancy camera with some crazy kind of sensor on the front. It's just absolutely ordinary video. And you put it into, you run through a camera tracker, you put it into video trace, and in video trace you can generate a 3D model just by drawing on frames of that video. And this is the process of generating a model of this SUV. So, and it's that fast, right? So in a process of minutes you can generate a low polygon count model of that sort of complexity, and anyone can do it. You know, it's not, you don't need to spend 6 months at a training course trying to figure out how to perform some 5 or 6 or 7 dimensional manipulation with a 2D input device and a 2D screen in front of you. They're all 2D interactions. And what you wind up with is a, you know, there's still a low polygon count 3D model, but a 3D model that's accurate enough for most of the applications that we're interested in. So if you know, modeling things for Google Earth, modeling things for games, or doing video editing, in this case if you want to cut and paste between sequences. You know, the kind of things you take for granted with Photoshop. With this you can do with VideoShop, right? It's, you know, and it's fun. I mean, the best thing is that generating these models is fun. So, and you know, maybe I don't need to tell you why you want to do this, like why you want to generate these 3D models. Everybody I talk to comes up with a new idea. Everybody's got something else they want to do with 3D models, and some other process that would be improved by allowing everyone to do it, or just allowing the people who are doing it to do it more quickly. Like it kind of changes the value of the whole process, makes it more accessible. So. Everybody thinks about special effects. Most of the interest we're getting off the website is in architecture. People want to model the buildings around the buildings that they're trying to visualize so they can assess the impact, figure out how the shadows are going to sit, but also just demonstrate it to the client. Like the client wants to see, and the council wants to see what your new building is going to look like next to, you know, next to what's already there. We're modeling stuff underwater. There's a guy who's sending us video of mining platforms from the Gulf of Mexico. People apparently buy mining platforms, oil rigs, you know, kind of, they buy these things and they don't know what they're getting. You know, they know the chemical that comes out, but they've got no idea what the shape of it is. So if they want to fix it, they need to model it from underwater somehow. So this guy takes video, sends it to us, and we generate models. And in general, people are getting more visually sophisticated. You know, 3D models are coming up everywhere, and they're, you know, you watch TV and there's a whole lot of special effects that are just kind of fundamentally based on generating 3D. But there's also, I mean, there are more cameras around, and video is kind of a fundamentally multi-dimensional thing. You know, it's not 2D anymore. But there are also laser scanners and all of the other kinds of things that people use to generate 3D. And video trace works with most of that kind of data, you know, point data and images particularly. All right, so some specific examples. If you want to insert some object you own into a video game, you know, if you've got a particularly fancy car that you want to drive around your video game, I've got a terrible car that I'd like to drive into in a video game. You might want to put your couch in Second Life. You know, Second Life is this large networked virtual environment. If most of the models in Second Life, well, a lot of the models in Second Life are pretty clunky because the tools are difficult. And you know, there are some fantastic models, but there are some really terrible ones as well. So this is Bob Middleton's truck, And if Bob did fancy driving his truck around the place, he could do so in his favorite video game. The gun is ours. Bob doesn't actually have a gun on the back of his truck. Thanks.